What is going on? Let me know if you can hear me and see me properly. You can put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me and see me properly. And then once I got the okay, we're going to rock out. I felt like I needed to do a live stream today because we were originally supposed to do a live stream for our 5-2 challenge, but it was misscheduled. So I was like, let me go ahead and do a live stream anyway so that everybody can make sure they get their support. But also I'm going to do the live stream for the whole community since the specific live stream we was going to do for the 5-2 is getting pushed back. All right, cool. So y'all can hear me, see me, everything is straight. Happy Sunday. This is April 7th. It is the day before the big day. Y'all know what the big day is? Some of you all in other countries may not be aware, but here in America, do y'all know what tomorrow is? I'm gonna test the temperature real quick. Y'all put me in the chat. Let me know if you know what tomorrow is. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen tomorrow, how people are going to act. For y'all who don't know, I'm in Texas. So it's like one of the best places to be for the eclipse. Apparently, this eclipse is one that we haven't seen for 100 years. I was talking to my friends earlier. They said that the last time we had this eclipse, the founding fathers were signing the Declaration of Independence. So, I don't know if, tomorrow, there's a lot of speculation about what's going to happen, why it's going to happen, what it's going to mean, blah, blah, blah. I think there's a lot of predictive programming going on. There seems to always be. Okay, great. It's a special eclipse. So what I'm going to say is this. Whether you think something's going to happen, whether you believe that there's some extra benefit, something going on, I would say this. The best thing everybody can do is focus their attention on the things, the outcomes they want. Do your best to stay away from negative thoughts, negative energy, negative people, negative self-talk, all of that stuff, tomorrow. If tomorrow is a special day and it does generate additional energy, and energy just meaning when you talk about the power of manifestation and being able to bring whatever it is that you want into this reality, maybe the lifestyle you want or the results you want or whatever, let's just say that that's true. There's going to be extra energy floating around. You want to put it towards something positive. You definitely don't want to put it towards something negative. I mean, that's just in general. But if there is extra energy going around tomorrow, you want to put it towards something positive. I'm going to tell y'all that's what I'm going to be doing. Now, I am going to take some time to actually view the eclipse because I think they're special. And maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we had an eclipse here in Texas that supposedly was very special. They're all very special. In your religious texts, they talk about the eclipse being signs. So there's definitely something to it. It's not just happenstance. It's not just nothing. There's something to it. But I remember the shadows that were cast by the eclipse would create little crescent moons, which I thought were really cool. And so I viewed it. But this time is going to be a special eclipse. And I actually wanted to view the last eclipse we had. Certain cities or certain states had full 100% eclipse. And I really wanted to view that because I heard that it was really cool. So it's cool that I live in a place where it's going to get 100% eclipse. If you guys don't get the 100% eclipse, I'm sorry for you. You know what I mean? Don't hate on us. Maybe next time. But we've got like 1 million plus people coming in Texas for the eclipse, which is crazy. All right. So someone said, I thought the live was canceled. The live technically was canceled. All right, first of all, hit the like button for me, y'all. Let's get the likes up real quick. The live was definitely canceled for the 5-2. As you can see, it's just me. We don't got the whole team. I decided to go ahead and do a live stream tonight because I know a lot of you all were expecting one. It was our fault. We canceled it, but it wasn't supposed to be tonight. It was supposed to be next week. So that was our fault. So I just wanted to do a live stream. So tonight we do have a topic. We're going to be talking about, is there a secret to weight loss? I do want those of you all in the chat who are in the 5-2, please feel free to drop any questions you have, because I made sure to post this live in the 5-2 challenge so you guys will be aware of it if you do need additional support. By the way, if you have been in the challenge and you've been getting those extra premium accountability calls, feel free to drop in the chat what those calls have done for you. If you think they've been beneficial, feel free to drop in the chat if the challenge has been beneficial. That way, if there are people who are not in the challenge or they're not in the premium accountability membership, they can kind of understand some of the benefit. I know we did a call, Shell did a call Saturday, I think, and apparently, people were on there giving testimonials, just talking about their experience. I appreciate y'all. So I did want to get that little piece out of the way about the eclipse. I do want to say that in general, we want to be focused on positivity, positive self-talk, positive reinforcement. These are all terms you want to be familiar with, and you want to really practice them daily. It takes 21 days to make and break a habit. I want you guys to focus on, positivity throughout the month of April. April, April, if we look at nature, and we look at some cultures in the past, or even some modern cultures that maybe aren't so prevalent, a lot of them, and nature recognizes April as the new year. So I know that in America, we think that the new year is in January. I think the Chinese New Year is usually in February. But I want you guys to think about it. I want you to think about new beginnings. I want you to think about what would the start of something look like. When you think about crops, like plants, look at nature and stuff, when do the seedlings pop up? When do the new beginnings start? Starts in April. It starts in spring, but April, the weather has changed here. The seeds are popping up. As you guys know, I've been working in my garden for the past year. The soil is really fertile. It's really amazing. So what I've noticed is the squirrels are, they plant their little seeds, and there's little trees popping up everywhere. I got little tiny oak trees popping up everywhere. It's interesting to see because I've never seen it before, because the soil, when a seed would drop, it would just drop on the ground and it would just sit on top. You know what I mean? Of course, the squirrels, they'll bury some, but I guess the soil wasn't conducive to them growing. So I'm noticing these seeds popping up everywhere. And it just got me to understand, like, this is the beginning of the year. So, new beginnings. This is the time to start putting that energy into, you want to start the new year off on the right foot. All right. So the topic today is there a secret to weight loss? And we got some first timers. That's what's up. Welcome. If either you're new to the channel or maybe it's your first live stream. Hopefully it's a treat for you. Is there a secret to weight loss? I mean, I'm gonna approach this a couple different ways. Yes and no. Yes, there is. And sometimes you can look at secrets as being these big, mysterious things. The weird thing about the secret to weight loss is that it is a secret in modern time. But if we go back 100 years ago, weight gain wasn't a problem. So there wasn't a secret to be known. It was just called lifestyle, right? I have found through my own experimentation and just observing my life that lifestyle is the absolute secret. We'll go a little nuanced, more nuanced, but lifestyle is the secret. I put out a video today. The video was talking about how to never gain weight again. It's a very simple task. It's very much so in alignment with the secret to weight loss. If you can get your lifestyle in alignment with never gaining weight, if you are overweight, right? If you do the things you need to do to not gain weight, but you're overweight, those same habits will also benefit you losing weight as well. And one of the things that I guess would be a secret is a lot of people look at weight loss as a diet. It's like I gotta do this diet for a period of time, lose this weight. The last thing you want to do is approach this as a diet. That's why I mentioned lifestyle up front. This is a lifestyle thing. Now, there's a big difference between how you approach a diet and a lifestyle change, and that's the important part. A diet we know is temporary. We know we're going to do it for a fixed period of time. Once that period of time is over, we're going to go back to whatever we were doing before. That means we're going into this process knowing that we're going to completely disrupt this change once we've reached the final outcome or once we get burnt out. When you're looking at it as from a lifestyle change, you know you're going into this and you're really only going to make changes that you believe are sustainable at the time. Because when you're looking to change your lifestyle, it's a slow incremental thing. When you're doing a diet, you know it's only going to be for a short period of time, so you feel like you can overcompensate by going to an extreme. When you deal with lifestyle change, you want to leave extremes alone, right? And I know people think fasting is an extreme. Obviously, I think many of you can probably say that you don't believe fasting is an extreme. If you've been doing fasting, once you actually start doing fasting, you know it's not an extreme. It looks like an extreme from the outside, right? But you don't want to go into lifestyle changes with an extremist mentality because you're going to burn yourself out. We all innately know this. But when we do diets, we're all in. But you only get 30 days though, right? You only get 40 days. Some of you guys, Steven just completed 75 hard. It's easier to go extreme knowing that, okay, I'm doing this for 2 months, 3 months, whatever. I'm going to get my outcome and then I'm going to just do my own thing. The other piece about extremes is oftentimes they don't really create the path to permanent change. This is the reason why yo-yoing is so popular. People will do an extreme and then they completely fall off. I used to have a friend, actually, she came on the channel once, she just had that extreme personality. It was 0 to 100. We were talking about, health and wellness. This is back in the day. And she had decided she wanted to do raw. So instead of just saying, okay, cool, I'm going to add like 1 or 2 raw meals a week, I'm going to play around with it, I'm going to learn. She was just like, I'm not eating cooked food. I'm going straight juice, apples, oranges, bananas. She bought a dehydrator. She bought a canning, a vacuum sealer. She bought all of this stuff, a new juicer, all of this equipment, everything in order to jump head into raw eating. And at first it seemed great. At first it was like, dang, that's what's up. She's making sun-dried tomatoes and canning fresh peaches and doing all these amazing things and seeing great progress. I even got her to do a juice fast for like an extended period of time. Or was it a water fast? It might have been a water fast. I think she did a water fast on her own, and then I got her to do like a water. I said that wrong. I think she did a juice fast on her own, and I either got her to do a longer juice fast or I got her to do a water fast. Either way it goes, she saw an improvement. She's doing great. She's losing weight. She's seeing, hormonal changes. She's everything's all good, right? And then month goes by, 3 months go by, half a year goes by, and kind of raw, kind of not. I mean, I still have raw meals every once in a while. Does that count? The energy and the effort behind it had diminished just in a period of 6 months. I think it's important to understand that we are more likely to have that journey where you might look at it as like an extreme up or down or yo-yoing versus the off chance that you're one of those people that have the mental fortitude to be able to go 0 to 100 and maintain that. That is not a normal thing, okay? And I've had the pleasure of working with thousands of people. Many of you guys in the community have been, working with us, following us for a while now. You guys give us feedback all the time. And man, I can probably literally count on one hand. Out of all these thousands of people, tens of thousands of people, I can count on one hand the amount of times I've seen somebody go 0 to 100 and they've actually benefited from that. And when I say benefit, I mean long term. Because 0 to 100 is going to get you benefit in the short run. Like you're gonna feel great. You're gonna look amazing. People are gonna be like, "Oh my God, you're doing great! Rah rah shish kumbah." It's gonna be amazing. But then what happens 3 months later? And this is where the shame comes in for a lot of people because they go 0 to 100 and they're preaching to everybody else. You should do this. You should do that. This is what I'm doing. Look at my results. And then 3 months later, it's crickets. It's like, why even do that to yourself? And this is why motivation can be kind of like a double-edged sword. Sometimes we're motivated to do things that are outside of our current capacity. It's not that you can't do it, that you'll never accomplish it. It's like there's a gradient that needs to be incorporated in our wellness journey. We cannot be expected to go from living, one particular lifestyle, let's just call it the SAD diet, our entire life, that's 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. And then all of a sudden you get new information, which I appreciate. You guys get new information, you get excited, you want to act on it. But you can't go from living one way for that long and then just turning left, right? It has to be a gradual turn. And there is no shame in that. You only stand to benefit from taking that extra time to slowly change your course. Now, one of the things that people miss because they're constantly doing the up and down, the extreme up and down, there is a beauty in the lifestyle change. What this means is I genuinely believe life is a journey, and I believe that if you're living life to the fullest extent, it is a journey of discovery. It means that you are not just walking. Maybe you have a destination in your mind. You're not just walking focused purely on the end goal. You are exploring as you go along. You're stopping along the way. You're taking little side quests. The journey of discovery, in my opinion, is the meaning of life. It's the most captivating part. This is just me. This is what I love. Learning new things. I love exploration. I love experimentation. I love observation. Like, these things are very fulfilling to me. So if you're constantly going straight up and straight down, you're missing everything in between. The in between is what really is going to help you establish the lifestyle change you need in order to sustain whatever goals you have. And like, I really do believe this applies to everything. For example, if you're a woman and you want a man and you want a traditional man, but let's say that you weren't raised as a traditional woman, you wouldn't just simply expect that you've decided today, okay, I want a traditional man, and then you're just going to get that guy, right? You would have to slowly but surely learn what it's like to be a traditional woman, or at least learn what these modern traditional men want in order to get that guy and really have him, like, maybe get married, have children, and all those things. You can always cheat, right? You can always cheat and pretend. There's the representative that you could present to a man, and then, maybe you could get so far, but eventually that's only going to get you so far. And that's just an example. But that's the same. It's the same for the wellness journey. Like, you're not fooling anybody but yourself. You can pretend to be the person, the guru. You're going to tell all your friends, da-da-da-da-da. But at the end of the day, if you're not making change that's sustainable, you're gonna put yourself in a box, and you're gonna feel trapped. And it's embarrassing. It can be embarrassing. because you have all this energy towards this outcome that you know you're going to get. And maybe you do get it. But if you can't sustain it, what's the point? I don't know what my thoughts are, or I don't really know what I would say. Like if somebody was like, "Okay, Chris, is there a negative side to the yo-yoing, like on your body? Like, is there a negative side to, extreme weight loss and extreme weight gain constantly?" I would say yes and no. It depends on how you're losing and gaining the weight, which would kind of determine that. Obviously, extreme weight gain is probably always going to be bad, but I know there's ways that you can gain weight that are less detrimental than others. If you gain weight through inflammation, obviously inflammation can cause you many different issues, but inflammation is so easy to get rid of that I would say that might be less detrimental than actually putting on fat, right? But what I will say is, physically, it's debatable whether or not it's going to be like detrimental, but I think mentally it's definitely damaging because you put yourself in a cycle, and it's not a healthy cycle. It's like you're constantly having these extreme highs and lows. You look very inconsistent, and that it's not even just within your wellness journey. This type of mindset does spill into other areas of your life. And people can see that, people can pick up on that. There's a saying, the way you do one thing, you do everything. I'm not that guy. I don't really believe that. I think that people, when they have a passion for something, they'll do it very different from anything else they've ever done, right? And vice versa. If it's something that they have absolutely no care about, they're probably not going to do it at the same level that they do something they're passionate about. But there's a lot of people that believe that, and then they say that perception is reality. So if there's a lot of people that believe that the way you do one thing, you do everything, and then perception is reality, so they believe this to be the truth, then the way people perceive you when you constantly go up and down and you don't really maintain, they see you as inconsistent. Now, you might be thinking, well, I don't care. That's on them. And that might be true. But then the question, I guess, becomes, who is the them? Because if you have children, like, do you want your children to see you being inconsistent like that? And then how does that affect their development and growth? Like, it's not as simple just to be like, whatever, that's their problem. Because who's the there? Is it your spouse? If you're a husband and you're inconsistent, that doesn't bode well for how, maybe a family feels protected or safe, or if you're just in a leadership role in general, maybe at work or whatever, inconsistency tends to give the impression that you're incompetent in some way, right? So we do want to be consistent with our words and our actions. It's better not to bite off more than what you could chew, because then that will help with the ability to maintain and to be integrous. That's important. But also what it does is it reaffirms in you that you can do it and that you can be successful, because you're taking it day by day. You're taking the baby steps, these incremental steps. You're accomplishing and you're maintaining. And so as you get further and further along on your wellness journey, whether it's weight loss or otherwise, you become more competent and confident. And then that gives you the competency to push harder. But that's what it's all about. I mean, it's no different from if you went to the gym and let's just say that you can lift 100 pounds one time. It would not be wise, right? If 100 pounds is your max, it would not be wise to go out and just start banging out 100 pounds. Like, that would be unwise. Can you do it? Yes, you can. Are there consequences that are come along with that? Yes. The longevity and the development and the growth and everything that you really, really want, you may stunt your growth. You may hurt yourself. If you injure yourself, you're definitely going to stunt your growth. And if it's not something that you naturally want to do, if you kind of worked your way up, you like had to motivate yourself or watch some David Goggins to get you to go to the gym and do this, then one little obstacle is really all it takes to kind of like demotivate you, to pop your balloon, deflate, etc., etc. Hit the like button if you guys are enjoying the content. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. If this is your first time checking out the content, subscribe. Y'all already know what we do, man. I've got a link in the description box, by the way. For those of you who are new, you can join our community. It's called AHA Communities. You go to www.ahacommunities.com. But if you guys are looking to push yourself to the absolute max, day one, there's consequences. And we're not all strong enough to deal with the mental and physical strain that happens. And I would say that it's just not that beneficial. If you guys think, because most people yo-yo, so this is not new. I am not excluded from this. You know what I mean? I don't want you guys to think I'm just preaching at you. I'm speaking from personal experience as well. But at the end of the day, if you yo-yoed for any significant period of time, think about all of the wasted effort. Like I have a thing about me. I hate wasting my breath, meaning with all the knowledge I've obtained, the beauty of the knowledge I've obtained is that the more knowledge you obtain, you know nothing. Like the less you know. The more you know, the less you know. And I think that's a beautiful thing. But I don't like sharing what I do know on deaf ears. It drives me insane. What I do is I apply that same energy to whatever task I want to complete. If I know I'm not going to be consistent, or if I'm going off of like heavy motivation, I don't want to waste my time. It's better to just wait. Maybe it's better to build up more knowledge, build up your knowledge base so that you don't need so much motivation. Like, take some time on the sideline to watch the game and how people play. So what I basically mean is, let's say that you've been yo-yoing a lot and you saw a video from a healthy alternative and they're like, oh, I lost 100 pounds in, 4 months. Wow. And you're like, oh, that's crazy. I want to do that. Instead of just jumping right in and trying to play the game to lose 100 pounds in 4 months, sit on the sideline. Join AHA communities for a while. Read the posts. Immerse yourself in the content. Like, before you do anything, people think that, like, studying the game is a waste of time. Not only is it not a waste of time, I think it's a necessary thing for many reasons. Number one, you got to know what you're doing. What do you really need to do to lose 100 pounds in 4 months safely? Well, if you're just watching content and you're hearing someone's story, you should have questions. Okay, so now you need to write those questions down, and then you need to seek those answers. You might not get those answers right away. It might take you reading a book or watching some content or joining a program or whatever the case may be. And as you go through the process of figuring this thing out, you're going to have more questions. So it's going to be an ongoing process. After a period of time, you may have like the majority of your main questions answered, but there's always going to be more questions. Once you start doing it yourself, there's going to be more questions. So who are you going to go to get those questions answered? Have you put yourself in a community where you can ask people, or are you working with a coach? Like, you want to think about all of these things so that you can be well supported throughout the entire journey. They say that a chain or a rope is only as strong as weak as link. Well, if you look at your journey as different links of the chain, maybe in the beginning it's strong because you have zeal. Okay? Zeal is excitement, it's passion, it's motivation, but you have very little knowledge. But zeal is a powerful thing. Zeal can get you on a 30-day fast. It could get you to lose, 30 pounds in a month or 50 pounds in a month. But then what happens on month 2? You come off the fast, the zeal has burnt out, you did the thing, and you have no idea how to break the fast. You have no idea how to maintain it. You have no idea about proper hydration. And so now all of that zeal out the window. You have no knowledge to support you, and then you fall because, once again, the chain is only as strong as the weakest link. So I like to, me personally, if I see somebody who has a ton of zeal, I love it. It's fresh energy. We're talking about April. It's new beginnings. It's the beginning of the new year. Hey, listen, zeal, love it. I think it's important to focus it. Focus your energy. When you have that zeal, focus it on studying. Focus it on building a knowledge base, building a support system, working your way into a community. Use the zeal to do those things. These are going to be like pillars that you're going to use throughout your wellness journey, and they're going to help support you. If you use your zeal to build that, and maybe even build some habits around that, like some simple, small habits. Wake up every day, have your water with some lemon in it. You know what I mean? Like first thing in the morning. It's one of the first things that we teach when it comes to like the health and wellness journey. Hydration. There's no getting around it. It's got to be the most important part. It's got to be the most important part because it's like water is everything. So you got to have water for things to function, like for you to detox. So it's a great first step because we as human beings, we have a very interesting relationship with water, right? But we don't have much knowledge about water. I saw Cat Williams say something. Did y'all see that Cat Williams interview? I got to tell y'all something. I personally think that comedians are some of the most genius people in our modern time. That's me. Maybe history supports that. The king always had a court gesture around. I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, from my observation, comedians are they're oftentimes they're geniuses. Not every comedian, but oftentimes the great ones are geniuses. And Cat Williams, he said something very interesting about water. He said, and I'm going to ruin the joke, so don't get mad at me. But he was like, science did not make water. Water is the only thing that you know the ingredients and you can't make it. He's like, if you was baking a cake, you got the eggs, the milk, the flour, you could bake a cake. We know. We say water is H to the O. H2O? H to the O. And you still can't make it. So anyway, my point is, I ruined the joke. That's fine. My point is, water is mysterious. It's mysterious, and it's special, and it's more than we ever could have thought it was because we think it's just H2O, and it's not. And there's different phases of water. Well, we were taught about 3 in schools, solid, liquid, gas. Those are mysterious by themselves because you never see something solid float on the liquid form of itself, right? So when you freeze water and it becomes ice, ice floats on top of water. That's not normal, okay? Any other liquid would sink, or any other liquid turning solid would sink. But then there is the 4th phase of water. That's the one that they never taught us about. Okay? You could call it structured water, you could call it cellular water, you could call it the 4th phase of water, you could call it easy water. There are so many different words for it. But ultimately, it is the water that the cells utilize, and it's not H2O. Recently, it's been very popular to talk about H3O2, which is the cellular water you would find in the fruits and vegetables. Now, the beautiful thing about understanding this scientifically is you can add fruits and vegetables to your H2O, and there is a conversion that happens. There's a manipulation of your H2O. You can put a lemon in your water, and it will enhance your water. It will. Okay? That's one of the things I learned a long time ago, and I reference my own personal experience. When I was younger, and I was dating these girls, I would, we go to the restaurant, and they would always get their water with a lemon. I would play them. I would make fun of them. I would say, let me get mine with some lemon and a sugar packet. I'm gonna make some lemonade. I'd make little jokes. I was just like, bro, water is water. Like, I really didn't understand. I was not anything close to a water snob. Didn't understand it. I apologize, young ladies, because you all were right. Water with lemon is not only better tasting, it's better for you. It's more structurally sound. It's more hydrating. When you take water with lemon first thing in the morning, I recommend it at room temperature. And I also recommend you give your water, what I would do is I would infuse my water overnight. So if you're going to have water with lemon first thing in the morning, I would slice up a couple lemons, limes, key limes, or whatever, put them in the water, let it infuse for like 4 hours, and then drink that first thing in the morning. That's going to give you like the greatest benefit. You can make a habit out of this, but this is going to hydrate you better so that you could detox. So once you're ready to start fasting, you're ready to start doing your thing, you can start detoxing. But the crazy thing about it is we haven't even talked about anything crazy, like no heavy fasting, no dietary change. We're just talking about a cup of water with some lemon, lime, or key lime that you prepare the night before you go to sleep. You will start to lose weight. You will start to dream. You'll get better sleep at night. You will start to breathe better. You will notice that your bowels are move more frequently and more completely. Your skin will look better. Your brain fog will start to diminish, like just from doing that one thing. All other things considered equal, you're just doing the same thing, right? Your daily habits are the same. You do that one thing. You have 16 to 20 ounces of water first thing in the morning, infused in your fruit, your lemon, your lime, your key lime, whatever. You will see benefit. You will see benefit, especially if you're paying attention. Your cholesterol might go down. I'm not going to say it's going to completely normalize or anything like that, but you might see it go down a little bit. Blood pressure go down. You might notice inflammation going down. Okay, it's not a cure-all. It's not a magic thing. It's not going to all go away. But if you're observant, you know your body, you will notice improvement. We'll say that. You'll notice improvement. So you can literally immerse yourself in a community, knowledge base, taking in the testimonials. Do something very small like having your water ready. And over that period of the first month, that's really all you do. And you just be, I was going to say humble, but I'm not a fan of that word. You just be present and keep an open mind, and you pay attention to yourself. This is a good time too to like journal, so that you have an understanding of your start point. You have an idea of the goals that you want. And then as you are living the in-between, you're also documenting it. I can't explain how beneficial that is. It's hard to explain how beneficial it is to document and write things down to someone who's never done it. Because you'll just think there's no point. There's really no benefit. Like, what does it matter? I could put it in my phone or I can just think about it. There's something special or powerful that happens when you put pen to paper. I don't know. It's just the way that the world works. Writing things down. It's almost like an exchange. It's almost like accountability, and you're putting. It's like an exchange. It's like a physical exchange. Like you are creating a pact. You know what I mean? Like you're writing it down, and also, just in general, the more touch points you have, the better your brain and your mind and your consciousness can kind of taste, touch, and feel this thing you want. So, for example, if you have a dream car, it's like a BMW X5 or something like that, writing it down that let's look, what's the specs? It costs $65,000. It's got 400 horsepower. It's got 5 rows. It's got, 10 speakers. It's got 21-inch rims. Like writing down the specs and, envisioning what it would be like to be in the car. Even better, going and renting the car. Toro is a great app. You can actually rent other people's cars. You go and rent the car, or at least you go to the dealership and you go and sit in the car. You sit behind the wheel. You touch the wheel. You play with the buttons. You smell the leather and you smell what it's like, and you can visualize the car and you decide what color you want. And when you go through this whole process, these are like building blocks that your mind and your consciousness is going to use to help create this thing, this picture, this experience. Writing it down is part of that. It's really a secret. It's a secret building block that a lot of people don't utilize, but that's the reason why I created the AHA journals. I wanted to encourage people to write things down. I write, ever since I changed my health and wellness, the amount that I write increased by probably, 100-fold. I wasn't writing before. I would take notes when I was in school. So like when I was learning to be an electrician, I'd take notes. That's because I had to. If we were doing a training or something like that, I might take notes. And then one of my teachers, he told me, he was like, yeah, Chris, when it comes to this construction game, always keep a journal. Always take notes of what people said and when, because you're covering your own butt. People lie. There's a lot of weird stuff that happens in construction. People do not like taking accountability. So by you having documentation, it just basically, it saves your butt. So that was literally the only time I really wrote stuff down. I write so much now. It's just second nature. It's second nature to write. I keep my little notepad and stuff with me. Boom, writing stuff down. And I tell the story when I was starting my first business, like my personal first business. I wrote everything down, and I would create these timelines for myself. And I was amazed in retrospect, when I looked at what I accomplished, I was amazed that I beat every single timeline. And I also encourage you guys to be aggressive with your timeline, not extremely aggressive. You don't want to be unrealistic, but don't it shouldn't be a walk in the park. You should feel some resistance from the process. But my point is, I noticed that, man, I'm really meeting these goals and I'm exceeding my timelines. And it got me excited. And it also helped me to reconfigure what I knew I was capable of. Because when I tell you guys to be aggressive with your goals, because of where you are in your mind state right now, that's really the limitation on how aggressive you could be. It's not about your capability, because you're capable of whatever. But because of where our mind is, because of negative reinforcement, because of stress, because of, our environment, not having a supportive community, we put limitations, but they're not real limitations. So as I'm going through this process of creating these timelines, I'm breaking and exceeding goals. I'm seeing, wow, I'm capable of much more. Maybe to my own detriment, because at this point, I create goals that are just completely they're absurd. Like I create absurd goals for myself because I just haven't found the upper limits of what I can achieve yet. So I create these absurd goals for myself. And maybe I need to reevaluate, because the more absurd the goals are, the more stress comes along with achieving it, especially in the timeline. And lately I find myself having to alter my timelines a little bit. You know what I mean? And it's been a frustrating thing for me. So maybe I need to dial it back a little bit. Just create a little step in between. That's a little coaching for myself. But the secret to weight loss is lifestyle. But there is no secret. Because when we look at 100 years ago, the lifestyle was just the lifestyle. There's no secret. People just didn't get fat. They just didn't get fat. Now, here's the thing. How can we mimic what people were doing 100 years ago today? Well, we have to put ourselves in that time. Oh, by the way, I personally think I love my life, and I love living in this time. I really do. I was an 80s baby. I lived through the 90s. I think the 90s was like the greatest decade that we've seen this side of the century. But I will say that I do resonate a lot with the 1900s. Like I look back at the 1900s and it just seems so cool. Maybe not. Maybe it wouldn't have been a great place for me, but just the inventiveness of people and Like all of the people I read about today that were alive then, and it just seemed like a very exciting time. But if we look at the 1900s and we look at the lifestyle of the people during that time, we could see, okay, what kind of lifestyle we need to develop for ourselves. What I've noticed is a lot of the conveniences of modern times have made us lazy and fat. So I'm not saying get rid of conveniences. I love conveniences. I love conveniences. I love nice things. I love quality things. But actively incorporating some things that are inconvenient in your life. And in the video this Sunday, what I talked about today, find something fun. It doesn't have to be boring. Inconvenient just means that you're going to have to work. You're going to have to move. You're going to have to sweat, right? But you can have fun doing it. Me and my friend used to play racquetball. That was our thing. We would play racquetball. We go to the gym, and it was competition. I'm a very competitive person. This is a me thing. Some of y'all might not be competitive, so this might not make sense for you, but I'm competitive. I found another person, my friend, who was competitive, and we would play racquetball. It was a new game. I used to play tennis with my mom back in the day. It was similar. I used to play badminton. It was similar. It was a lot of fun. It works you out. Before that, I was doing, basketball. I used to play basketball all the time. So you got to find something, right? It could be riding a bike. It doesn't have, a lot of people don't like to run. I don't like to run. But one of the things that we used to do when I was younger, my mom would take us to Lunken Airport I think it's technically in Kentucky, but in Cincinnati, Lunken Airport. Anybody from Cincinnati, y'all know where Lunken Airport is. I can't remember if we had to cross the river. It's been so long, but it was close to the river. Y'all let me know in the chat if it was, I think it was Cincinnati. But anyway, and they had a maybe like a 6-mile trail. And you would ride the bikes. You could rent bikes and ride the bikes. You know what I mean? I was a child at that time. We're talking, 9 to 14, something like that. I had so much fun going to Lunken Airport with my family and riding bikes. I looked forward to it. Now, granted, we'd stop at UDF on the way and get some ice cream. Either leaving or coming. Usually leaving. So you can skip the ice cream, or you guys can make homemade ice cream, and that'll make the whole experience very healthy, right? But there's fun things we could do as a regular thing that would increase our activity levels, and it's just molding your lifestyle. But you just gotta be. You have to be. You want to be intentional about it. That's the key. You just gotta be intentional. Anybody can say, I don't have time for this and I don't have time for that. Well, guess what? There's a cost to pay when you don't take care of your body. There's a cost to pay when you don't have time for your health right now. There's a cost to pay. For some of you, it's $10,000 chemo pills every month. For others of you, you lose a limb or some ability that you're naturally born with, right? For others, you die. So there is a cost. How extreme the cost is really the gamble. But it's like you don't have time for it now, but you're going to pay for it later. So it's better to make time now. Some of us are already experiencing some of these ailments. Diabetes, fibroids, infertility, erectile dysfunction. The list goes on and on. High blood pressure and everything that comes with. It's not fun living in pain. So it's better to, especially if you're not already there, if you're not already at a place where you're just in so much pain and so much discomfort. Maybe you're young. Maybe you're 22, 23. You're young. You know what I'm saying? You haven't really had a chance to mess your body up too bad. Understand that there's a price to pay for putting your health off. If you incorporate healthy things in your lifestyle, it doesn't have to feel like a diet or a regimen. It's just what you do. It's what you've always done. You maintain it. And people might look at you weird because you do things they don't do. There's some people that don't like to eat anything green. So it might be weird that I eat a salad and avocado and cucumbers and zucchini and stuff like that because they don't eat anything green for whatever reason. So I'm okay with being looked at weird. I love those things. You know, I posted a picture on on the Instagram of somebody in our Facebook group had posted like a raw, I think it was like a raw salad or something they posted. And it was just so delicious looking. Like it was like, you know what I mean? And whenever you throw avocado in the raw salad, you know, I'm like, yeah, hey, listen, you do the raw, you do the avocado, you do the marinated mushrooms, man. You could do. I mean, obviously, you know, there people get upset about this, but I've gone back and forth with this already. I do a little corn, man. I'm gonna do a little corn, even though it's genetically modified. One thing that I want you guys to understand from me and what I've learned is balance. Like balance is so important in this thing because like if you don't give yourself grace and you don't allow yourself to have balance, it decreases the sustainability of whatever you're doing. Now remember, I talked about this I think on my last live stream that I did in public. Dr. Sebi, he had a food guide. Of course, corn wouldn't be on it. We all know it's genetically modified, but we all know it, like corn's good, like it's delicious, sweet corn. Remember that Dr. Sebi's food guide is a prescription for someone who's sick. If you have done the work, you've gone through this process, you know, you've had your ups and downs with the dietary strategy, you've been consistent for a while now, like you're pretty locked in. It's okay to have corn. Like the body is designed to detox corn and, you know, certain things. Does it do it efficiently compared to like a natural thing? No. But if your body is high functioning, it's not gonna take away from your lifespan. It's about balance, but you want to get your body to a certain level first before you just start eating a lot of corn like that. You know, I gave up corn for a long time, as well as broccoli, years. I gave it up. I gave my body a chance to get all that synthetic material out. And then when I started feeling like things weren't as sustainable, I made adjustments. And I think that's fair. We live in a time and a place where it's very hard to stay away from the GMO stuff, the bioengineered stuff, the processed stuff. So balance is important, but on the front end of your journey, let's get you to a state of homeostasis. Let's get you healthy. Let's get you mentally clear. And then you can start incorporating some of those things to give you more variety and right. But, you know, I think that the key here is to grow your own food. You know, grow your own food, incorporate healthy activities into your lifestyle, actively prune your friend group. You don't have to prune it if your friend group is healthy. But if it's not healthy, prune your friend group. Like nature teaches us to prune. Once again, nature will show us something. It's blatant, it's obvious as day, but then we don't apply it. This is why I love the fact that I took up gardening. Like I love it. I've learned so much from it. Pruning. Do you know why you prune anything? To cultivate growth. So by pruning your friend group, you cultivate growth in your life. But that makes sense to me. It's like obvious. No one needs to tell me that. I don't need to read a book. I see it. If anybody's done gardening, you dealt with like weeds, quote unquote weeds. Weeds are usually herbs, right? Like they usually have medicinal properties. I'm dealing with nutsedge, and I will probably forever be dealing with nutsedge in this property on this land because I've made it very healthy and fertile for nutsedge. Nutsedge is a very interesting plant because it has these little nodules, little nuts that sit maybe like, it depends. My nutsedge is a little different. It usually sits a few inches underneath the soil. And then from that nodule, that little nut, these little roots will go out and up, right? And every root is going to connect to another nut and another flower or another leaf or grass, whatever it's called. I don't know. So what happens is, if I try to pull the nutsedge out, I'll get some roots and stuff, but if I don't get the nut, it just grows back. But it doesn't just grow back with the same one. It'll grow back with two. So the more you pull, you just multiply. You just multiply. Now I got it down to a place where I'll pull one. because when two grow back, I could pull the whole thing out because I get more grip. You know what I'm saying? So I'm using the nutsedge against itself. Two little, it looks like grass, but two of them will pop up, and then I can grip both, and they're connected to the same nut, and then I can pull it out. See what I'm saying? So I'm smart. That's that good eating and that drinking I be doing. You know what I mean? But life has a lot to show us, especially when we take the time to get back to nature and we have an open mind. And this is the secret to weight loss. It's lifestyle. It's just creating a lifestyle conducive to the body that you want, to the type of person you want to be, to the friend group you want, to the place you want to live, to the car you want to drive, to the experiences you want to have. Like, it's so easy to just complain and say, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. They didn't deal me the cards. You know, can I get a reshuffle? It's easy to complain. The reality is you guys have full control. Like, you have control over everything in your life. The things that happen to you that would be considered out of your control, where you do have control, is how you respond to those things. And that's important. So I hope you guys learned something good from this. I'm going to run through and see if I got some questions. I don't really think I saw any questions. Okay, here's a super chat. Okay, hold on. Oh, yep, okay. So I can't put this on the screen in this one. Let me see some. Okay, well, whatever. All right, so the super chat is Seamoss okay to take during prep week and the DR96? Seamoss is okay to take, period. See that? Hit the like button for me, y'all. Come on now. Let me get a like going, please. They tell you not to beg for likes. I'm begging and subscribe. I'm begging for likes and subscribes. Seamoss is okay to take, period. Seamoss is one of those things you can ingest that's just, it's basically beneficial. Back in the day, I used to teach mono fasting with Seamoss. Mono fasting with Seamoss. I like, it doesn't get any better than that when it comes to mono fasting. Mono fast with Seamoss? Bruh. You pretty much, you almost just regular fasting basically. But like, a lot of us have deficiencies, so the Seamoss is going to help with the deficiencies. But what I will say is this: before you want to just depend on Seamoss to fix your deficiencies, if you're combining it with fasting, that's great. If you're doing it with dry fasting, obviously you can't do Seamoss while you're dry fasting. But if you're doing prep with the Seamoss and then you dry fast, that's great. You're gonna see benefit. I like to take it a little step further because I found something that I like for detox. It's called Clean Slate. I highly recommend taking Clean Slate with all your fasting protocols as a daily supplement, because what it does is it removes the blockages that cause poor absorption. We go back to talking about the liver. The liver is going to sort between the good and the bad. It's going to, take stuff to the blood, take stuff to the colon. So you want your liver high functioning. Clean Slate is great at helping to support the liver. But this is also the reason why back in the early days, we taught the liver gallbladder flush regularly. We still do teach it, but I really want to push hard for the liver gallbladder flush for that reason. You want to make sure that your liver is high functioning so that if you are going to be taking Seamoss, herbs, supplements, etc., you're getting the most out of it. But I find that, the liver gallbladder flush is a little bit of, it's intimidating for people. They don't want to do it. It's a lot of work, blah, blah, blah. So I found a supplement that I really, really like for many different reasons. The other main reason I like it is because it's good for removing heavy metals from your system, and it's an organic product. It's not a synthetic chelation. So I think I put the link in the chat for that already. Not in the chat, but in the description. But I'll grab the link for that if you guys want to add that, because if you're going to be doing Seamoss and spending money and energy and time on something like that, then you want to get the most out of it. And one of the best ways to do that is make sure that you are absorbing. But this goes back to the hydration thing we talked about earlier too, because you can't absorb if you're not hydrated. So it's a key. Everything starts with hydration. That's why we talked about it exclusively for a while. But I'm gonna put this link in the chat. It'll take you directly to the clean slate. That way, if you guys aren't familiar with it, whatever, you can learn about it. But it's a fractured zeolite called clinoptilolite. But the method that she fractures this stuff at, it maintains its hexagon shape, and so it's able to trap nano-sized particulates, which is what makes it special. Hopefully that answer. I think I over-answered your question. It's a lifestyle, of course. I would like to know why it is so hard to lose belly fat. Well, when you say why is it so hard to lose belly fat, I'm assuming you're trying to target belly fat, right? Is that why? If you're asking why it's so hard to lose belly fat because you're trying to target belly fat, it's because you're trying to target it. That's why it's so hard. You really need to you've gotta approach your weight loss holistically. There are things you could do and take to target. I just don't see them being beneficial holistically. Are they beneficial aesthetically? Yes. It's beneficial aesthetically, yes. Are there healthy things you could do to help move waste from the belly? Yeah. Yeah, like you could use a castor pack. It depends on what's causing, because when we say belly fat, it's like, what is causing the belly fat? That's how you kind of going to approach it to kind of like target. You know, like, okay. Let's say you're trying to target belly fat with some traditional method and it's not working. It could be because you have a fibroid. You're like, do you know if you have a fibroid or not? And that fibroid could be swelling your belly up because of where it is and how big it is. You know? It's just like, I really, really like holistic wellness. I think that's the best way to go. But, you know, if you guys do like a castor pack on your liver or your womb or, you know, your kidneys or something like that, I mean, that would be beneficial. You know, like that would help move waste directly from that area. But you really still got to do the other stuff too. What is 75 hard? I don't even know, yo. I know it's a protocol. You have to work out twice a day for like 30 minutes, I believe. An indoor and outside exercise. You have to read either a certain amount of pages or a certain amount of time. I think you have to have like there's a certain type of way you have to eat at least once or twice a day. Man, Steven knows. Ask Steven on the next call that he has. He knows because he's been doing it. He just completed it. Shout out to Steven for completing the 75 days of hard. That is commendable. Sorry, y'all. Just reading through these, just breezing through them. Just trying to make sure. It's so much stream of consciousness. I know. I definitely be on that. I go hard on that stream of consciousness stuff. I do my best to keep it concise, but I don't do a great job. People sometimes they get annoyed with me. They be like, "Man, you all over the place." I remember I put a video out recently where it seemed like I was all over the place. I think I was doing a live stream, as a matter of fact, and the dude was upset, like, "Man, you all over the place. Maybe you should, have some notes." And I'm like, I know it seems like I'm all over the place with that particular video, but I did it on purpose. But I do the stream of consciousness thing in general, though. Is it possible to have lost weight too fast? Yes. If you don't lose, it depends on how you lose it. So the question is not the speed of how quickly you lose weight. It's how you lose the weight that matters. For example, if you lose 100 pounds in 6 months, but you're doing meth or crack, that's not good, right? And I know it seems like, well, duh, Chris. Yeah, but no, but not duh, though. Like, it matters how you lose the weight, you know? If you're using traditional methodology, and you're using like a sauna suit, and you're doing your gym and you're eating your protein and stuff, and you lose it, that could also be bad, right? That could create a lot of stress on your body. If you do it with fasting, no. Because if you use fasting as your primary weight loss method, your body is going to lose weight as efficiently as possible, in addition to being one of the quickest ways to lose weight. So it's built in, the efficiency of the weight loss is built in. So it's not about time per se. Okay, Jasmine said 75 hard. You got to read 10 pages of a book. 10 pages every night. Now, some of y'all are like, man, I blow through a whole book every night. There's also the other end of the spectrum where we don't read anything ever. I got all these books. I have like this weird thing now where I collect like books that I view as being valuable on topics that I'm interested in. And I just have a collection of books. And I very rarely take the time to read them. It's like a period of time. Like I'll get on a plane and I'll read. Or, you know, if I go, like I'll take little staycations, or even I'll go away and I'll take one of my books with me. But I don't read every day. What if the castor pack doesn't stay on? Is it okay to just put the oil in the liver? If so, how much? I usually recommend with the pack, with the actual castor pack, I'm gonna recommend about a tablespoon. Are you talking about one of our castor packs? Because they should definitely stay on. Or are you just saying you have one that doesn't stay on? They should. I mean, I've used a couple different castor packs and they've always stayed on. So it might just be your method of how you're tying it. But you could do it without the castor pack. It's just not as efficient. But if you were going to do it without the castor pack, I probably wouldn't use a tablespoon. I would probably maybe just use a teaspoon. You know, the castor oil gets pretty messy if you don't have the pack. I haven't had a menstrual cycle since November 8th of last year. Do you know what that could be? Sorry to gross you out, by the way. I don't understand women, periods, cycles. That doesn't gross me out. I can speak for myself, but I don't know, man. It seems like at some point in time, men have to know that that's a thing that happens. I'm pretty sure most guys aren't grossed out. I don't know. I feel like that's more of a young guy thing. But what could be causing it? That question it's just too difficult to. I would have to have a conversation with you. I'd have to have a back and forth and ask, too many questions. I can't just. I don't know. I'm sorry. Like that question is too difficult to answer. There could be so many reasons why you're not having your cycle. There could be so many reasons. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not going to try and pretend and give you a question. I would have to talk to you. All right. So, this has been excellent, man. I hope you guys got something good out of this. Share this video out. I can't give you guys no announcements because I always get in trouble and we don't have anything in stone right now, but I will tell you that we are working on the next challenge, even though we're still in our current challenge. The 5-2 challenge is going well. I think the people in the 5-2 challenge are having a very unique experience, getting the opportunity to connect with us on such a regular basis. That's been fun for everybody, I'll say. It's been fun. All the coaches are enjoying that. So that might be something that we incorporate regularly. But we have the R72 coming up soon. We've got the herbs. I got an update on some of the herbs. They're supposed to be here by the end of the month. We'll see. I won't be making any official announcements until we actually have them. But yeah, apparently it's a crazy growing season this year. But once we get our herbs in, we will have a lot. So we shouldn't have to worry about selling out for a while. Well, we'll see. So we got our R72 coming up. The herbs will be coming back in stock. We are planning an event. I'm not going to give you any details about it, but we are planning an event. So you guys be looking out for that. And we'll be announcing it as soon as we have more solid information. But our goal is to do it somewhere around the summertime. Boo, 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 boo. That's the best I can give y'all. Probably going to get in trouble for that. All right, enjoy the rest of your week. And as always, the application of knowledge is power. I will see you guys on the flippity flop.